this story the best fish I ever ate. My sister calls it the girl who wouldn't eat fish. You could also call it salt and pepper, musical taste, or perhaps don't judge a book by its cover. Only twice in my life have I been surprised by the taste of my food. Once was when I ate a potato. No lie, a potato, the most humble of vegetables. Knocked my socks plumb off. I had just dug it up that day. This was about 1987. 87, I think. Yes, 87. I had spent the summer growing a couple of potato plants, and I dug them up, pleased that I had grown a couple of spuds. I took the potatoes up to the house and baked them, and had them with a little butter and salt and pepper, and oh my goodness. It was potato cubed. No, it was potato to the 10th power. The best tasting potato in the world, bar none. I remember my reaction to this day. Oh, the other time I was surprised by the taste of food was when my sister Kate and I went camping in Rhode Island. We had both just become empty nesters and realizing we had, more time for ourselves, and we decided to go camping like we used to when we were teenagers. We get to the campground and pitch our tents, build a fire, sit back in our camp chairs to relax. Oh.
And along about 3 o'clock, right across the road in an adjacent campsite, a bunch of college boys arrived and made their camp. They had a big truck and a van and beer. They pitched their tent, built a fire, and started throwing a football around, drinking beer and hollering and having a good old time. Then they turned on their music, their loud music. Suffice it to say that their choice of music is not our choice. White Stripes and My Chemical Romance?
How do you know the names of those bands playing that horrible music?
My kids used to listen to it at home before they left for college. Makes me a little homesick.
Makes me kind of sick too, but not homesick.
What happened to good music anyways? I mean, like Bon Jovi and Prince.
I think you mean the Doobie Brothers and the Eagles.
Well, I do keep forgetting you're much older than me.
Easy now. Oh well, there goes our nice relaxing camping trip without teenagers. So we leave in an hour or so to go eat dinner. When we get back, the football game is over, the campground is quiet, and the music is silent. I look at Kate, and she looks at me.
Maybe God is on our side, because the next morning when we awake, they're gone. Nobody home across the road. We praise what God's may be and prepare breakfast in blessed silence. About 10 o'clock or thereabouts, they return and they begin to build a campfire. They are not the boisterous bunch of frat boys they were the night before. I bundled up the trash we had and then carried it to the dump, which is behind the boys' campsite. As I pass by, one of the boys speaks to me.
I hope we didn't disturb you this morning when we left.
What? Disturb us?
Yeah, well, we left early and we tried to be quiet so we wouldn't wake you.
Oh, well, we didn't hear anything. And I go onto the trash dump, and on my way back, he stops me again.
I'm glad we didn't disturb you this morning, but here's a chunk of our catch. We'd like you to have it.
What is it?
Cod. Look at this cooler. We caught more than we can eat.
You went fishing this morning? Before dawn?
Yeah, our brother is here. He's getting married, and we thought we'd take him fishing as a gift. We chartered a fishing boat and caught all of this.
He shows me a cooler full of skinned, boned, and cut-up fish. Well, I thank him and go back to our campsite with a chunk of fish the size of a big paperback book. I don't eat fish. I don't like fish. I was born and raised on a dairy farm a long way from the ocean.
Well, me too. I was born and raised in the middle of Indiana, but I love fish. We put this chunk of cod on our grill and put in a little butter and some salt and pepper. Cooked it about 15 minutes and oh my goodness, it is fish cubed. No, fish to the 100th power. The best tasting fish in the world, bar none. Kate ate more than half of it. I remember my reaction to this day. You know, when I think when we experience something worth remembering or something happens to us that we can recall years later, it's a signal that we should learn something from it. With that piece of fish, I learned something I sort of already knew, that potatoes and fish are the best eaten fresh, that providing a meal for someone is a gesture of love, and that I should not prejudge young people whose musical tastes differ from mine.
Well, we had a lot of company all the time, especially on the weekends. Many times the company came on weekends, especially Sunday, and we never quite knew when they were leaving. In fact, many times we knew they weren't about to leave until being asked to join us for Sunday dinner. See, the smell in the house was so good, they just couldn't leave. Mom would start the sauce simmering about 2 in the afternoon. By 5 o'clock, if it was a warm day and the windows were open, we'd have a neighbor or two, or maybe one of my brother's friends who followed the delicious scent and wind their way up to our house. They'd make small talk, inquire about the game, football, baseball, whatever season it was, waiting for the invitation. Of course, it was always offered. Spaghetti night. Enough for our family plus anyone else. Mom always made more than enough, which is probably a leftover from the days when stray soldiers or visiting dignitaries would come home with my dad. There was always enough for everyone on spaghetti night. Spaghetti and loaves of Mom's special garlic bread. These days, I'm the stray wanderer with my own little family, coming over to the house once in a while on Sundays to see if the sauce is cooking on the stove. I know now what our friends felt when they walked in the door to that aroma so many years ago. It's true. It is hard to leave. You do want to stay until the last minute before she says, "Come on, get your salad," to the rest of the family, hoping that when she does, there are extra plates on the table. And of course, there are. And a booster chair for my little boy, and another little chair at the corner for my daughter. And my husband and I, all scrunched up together between siblings and neighbors, and happy around the family table, having Sunday dinner at the Currys.
Food is love,
Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
even if it's cat food,
Or calf's head soup.
an unwanted coleslaw.
Or even an unfortunate substitution.
The hands that prepare the meal are nourishing your belly and your spirit.
I hope you leave tonight filled with all the stories we've cooked up for you tonight.